All right. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Hello, welcome. Thank you for visiting. I need Scrum Master. If this is the first time you're visiting me, thank you so much. You're welcome. Excuse me. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always trusting me and always visiting me every time. I'm more than happy to share with you my thoughts, ideas concerning Scrum and Agile. As a way of introduction, I am John Bosco, but feel free to call me JB, as my friends do call me. I am a Scrum Master and Agile consultant. All right, so today we'll be walking us through an important Scrum activity or an artifact, if I would say, called the product roadmap, right? Which is an important, when I mean important Scrum artifact. One of the things that a Scrum Master brings to the table is about how to help to implement, how to help to deliver value, how to make things easier on the enterprise level and also on the team level. In fact, one of the ways a Scrum Master can become valuable in a team level on a team level is by collaborating with product owner on how to create a product roadmap. So today I'll be walking us through what a product roadmap is, how or where it falls into place in terms of artifacts and activities, and the fundamentals of a product roadmap, how to create a product roadmap, and why you should create a product roadmap. With that said, let's dive in. All right, so the image you are seeing on the screen kind of gives us a sense of the step-by-step approach in terms of product delivery life cycle. So the first stage is about the vision. Before the sprint starts or before we can talk about the product roadmap, you first of all have to create a vision of what they want to develop, and that vision will drive the process. So the second step is about the product roadmap. On the left-hand side, you see preparation. On the right-hand side, you see execution. So the left-hand side gives us a sense of what really happens at the background before the actual development work happens in sprints. All right, so this is just a recap of what a product roadmap is, how frequent it does happen, who champions the product roadmap. The product owner realistically champions the product owner, champions the product roadmap, right? The Scrum Master can also help co-facilitate that ceremony. And also it happens at least biannually. The fundamentals of product roadmap. By fundamentals, we mean the rudiments. What makes a product roadmap, what you should understand, the basics of the product roadmap. Again, it is not among the Scrum ceremonies. We have 5 basic Scrum ceremonies, and they are called ceremonies in part because they are meetings with purpose. So product roadmap is one of the Scrum artifacts. By artifacts, we mean a byproduct, right? So it is, realistically, it is an overview about features necessary to achieve the product goal. Now, we looked at the image previously about the vision and then the product roadmap. So those features that is going to help in order to achieve that goal or the vision is what is seen as the product roadmap. Again, you can also look at it as a plan of action on how to produce or get into the solution over time, right? The product owner uses the product roadmap to outline the future functionalities or capabilities that will be delivered as the product evolves. So you need to understand, where does the product roadmap fall into place as a Scrum Master or even as a product owner. Okay, so with that said, what are the different forms and the varieties of audience for a product roadmap? There are basically 3 fundamental forms, and then also 3 variety of audiences for a product roadmap. The first one is the internal roadmap for the team, for the dev team. The second one is the internal roadmap for the executives. And the third one is the external roadmap. So what does these three different forms entail? Internal roadmap kind of gives the development team a sense of what is to be delivered, right? The release dates. You've heard about releases, and sometimes team might release every quarter or every 6 months, or even once every year, depending on how they go about their releases. So the roadmap gives the team that sense of where are we in terms of the capabilities or the milestones or whatever that is going to the releases, right? So that is about the internal roadmap for the dev team. The internal roadmap for the executives helps to give a sense to the executive, but I mean by the stakeholders. I know stakeholders is a broad terminology, but see it as people who are at the helm of affair in the company on the metrics, right? If they are really moving towards the company goal. So the product owner gives them a sense of where are we in terms of the company goal, right? If you can take a step backwards in terms of the sprint KPI, for example, the burn down chart of the sprint report, which every Scrum Master, also a product owner could also take a look at that, is in Jira, and it's also in, I believe, is in Azure DevOps and also ZenHub, no matter whatever tool you're using. With that KPI means key performance indicator. So that helps to align, or that helps to showcase or demonstrate if really the company is moving towards the company goal. The external roadmap, by external, we mean the external, members that are not part of the company, right? It gives a sense of what is coming next. It's just like a heads up, right? So let's say, for example, we have concluded our sprint, right, on a sprint level now, and we have shipped that to the client, right? Now, during the sprint review, the product owner might be able to share the product roadmap, giving a sense of where we are and where we are heading to, just giving them a heads up of what they should be expecting for the next. Okay, so why create a product roadmap? Why is it necessary? Why should a product owner or a Scrum Master understand, right? Why should a product owner create a roadmap, and why should a Scrum Master understand what a roadmap is, right? One, for organizational leadership, right? It helps the executives, again, to update the progress of work. For them, it helps them in terms of decision making to understand whether they are getting off rail or they are on course. Right? PO and managers, it helps to unify work, right? It helps to unify work and enhance communication. It unifies work and enhances communication. For the dev team, it helps them to understand the big picture. Remember, Scrum is all about taking things piece by piece, not like the big bang, right? Which is, in waterfall, it's all about the big bang, all of the big bang, all of the big bang. But for the dev team, it helps them to understand the big bang and then trying to pay attention to the most important task, narrowing it down in order to understand when you are having a scope creep. What do I mean by scope creep? Scope creep is the change in requirements. Sometimes during the sprint, you hear sometimes the client or the executive or stakeholders might bring new requirements to the sprint. That is a scope creep. It is a change in requirements, right? There are tools you could use to create the product roadmap, right? You could either use a whiteboard. You could also use a sticky note. You could also use sticky notes is where you write all those, items that should be part of the product roadmap. But in terms of the tool, you talk about the whiteboard. In my own experience, in the past, I've also used, in collaboration with the product owner, we have used the Mural. We've also used the Miro. Also people who use Trello. Trello is also a nice tool to create the product roadmap. You can also use free version for people who don't know what these tools are. You can also create a free version on Mural and Miro and just give them a trial to see how that works. And there are a lot of thousands and thousands of templates you could also, lay your hands on just to make it easier for you. All right, and the final point I wanted to share with you today is about the step-by-step approach in creating the product roadmap. What should you keep in mind? What are the steps, right? Things you should be able to make sure you cover within that time frame. Write down one product requirement per sticky note, right? So let's say you have set up your board, whatever board you are using, either you're using the Mural or Miro. So each sticky note should contain one requirement you are hoping to accomplish, right? Whichever team is participating in that, whoever is part of the team, one requirement, one sticky note, right? And then after you got those requirements, you can begin to categorize them into different groups. It's all about sorting things out, categorizing them. And then after that, you have to prioritize them. What is the critical, what is the medium, and what is the low, right? Then you have to identify dependencies. How is one requirement dependent on the other? That would help you to know the progress or how you want to take, or the approach you would like to take in terms of tackling those requirements. And then also dependencies could go in terms of technical dependencies. So the dev team could be able to identify how is one requirement technically dependent on the other. And then there is kind of estimates, right? They might give that, overall or like a high level estimate of each of those requirements. And then you can now finally adjust, right? Adjust those requirements based on the dependencies and also based on your estimates. So these are the step-by-step approach, one after the other. And at the end, you can be able to have a really nice product, roadmap for your team. That's where we're going to stop for today. Again, feel free to drop your comments in the comment section, question, concern. I am more than happy to, interact with you. If you have a different way you facilitate or you engage your team or you approach product roadmap, please feel free to share with me in the comment section. If you want to talk to me on a one-on-one basis, you can also visit www.ineedscrummaster.com. Forgive me there for giving 4 W's. So it is 3 W's, www.ineedscrummaster.com. That's the official website. And schedule a free consultation where I can have that chance to talk to you on one-on-one basis to understand really how I can help, either on the team level, individual level, or otherwise. And if you are also looking to get certified, you are looking for a place to enroll in Scrum course, I encourage you to visit ineedscrummaster.com. Take a look at the services there and how convenient we can help. Again, we always work at your availability and at your convenience, right? Especially in the evening times where you and myself can have that opportunity to meet and interact. If you have a friend, a colleague who is interested to become a Scrum Master, it is a 6-week class every day for an hour, Monday to Friday, where we can sit and have that conversation. At the end of the 6 weeks, we'll make sure that you are ready to take your certification exam and then to get certified to become a professional master. All right, if you like this video, again, please click the like button. Help me to reach out by sharing on your social media platform. Subscribe if this is the first time so that you can always get a notification anytime that I release new content. All right, that's what we're going to stop for today. Thank you again for visiting me. It is my pleasure to talk to you today, and I look forward to talking to you again next time. In the meantime, bye for now.